days back, at least 10 people were killed and 9 were injured in a shootout at a car show in northern Mexico's Baja California. These people were reportedly caught in a crossfire between two of the most powerful gangs in Mexico, the Arellano Felix cartel or the CAF and the Sinaloa cartel. Although the motive of the shootout is not yet clear, but it is speculated that inter-cartel rivalry about a major trafficking route was perhaps the reason. In this video, we take a look at these two powerful and dreaded cartels whose rates run large in Mexico. And not just Mexico, the tentacles of these gangs exceed Mexico's geography. But before that, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Oneindia. Mexico's drug cartels are in a constant state of flux. Over the decades, they have grown, splintered, forged new alliances and battled one another for territory. The Arellano Felix organization, often referred to as the Tijuana cartel, is one of the most powerful and aggressive drug trafficking organizations operating from Mexico and undeniably the most violent. More than any other major trafficking organization from Mexico, this organization extends its tentacles directly from high echelon figures in the law enforcement and judicial systems in Mexico to street-level individuals in United States cities. The AFO is responsible for the transportation, importation and distribution of multi-ton quantities of cocaine, marijuana as well as large quantities of heroin and meth into the United States from Mexico. The AFO maintains well-armed and well-trained security forces which are paramilitary in nature and include international mercenaries as advisors, trainers and even members. The Arellano family, composed of 7 brothers and 4 sisters, inherited the organization from Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo upon his incarceration in Mexico in 1989 for his complicity in the murder of a DEA special agent. Out of all, Ramon Eduardo Arellano Felix was considered the most violent. He coordinated protection details over which he exerted absolute control. His responsibilities consisted of planning of murders of rival drug leaders and those Mexican law enforcement officials who were not on the cartel's payroll. Enforcers were often hired from violent street gangs in cities and towns in both Mexico and the United States in the belief that these gang members were expendable. They were then dispatched to assassinate targeted individuals and to send a clear message to those who attempted to utilize the Mexicali or the Tijuana corridor without paying the area transit tax demanded by the AFO. The area around Tijuana, which borders Southern California, is a lucrative drug trafficking corridor long dominated by the Arellano Felix cartel, but now it has become a battleground between various gangs, including the Sinaloa cartel. The Tijuana cartel was considered by the police in the 1990s and early 2000s to be one of the biggest and most violent criminal groups in Mexico. Alongside the Sinaloa cartel, it was the other half when the Guadalajara cartel split in the late 1980s. Now let's come to the Sinaloa cartel. With strongholds in nearly half of Mexico's states, particularly those along the Pacific coast in the northwest and near the country's southern and northern borders, and operations in as many as 50 countries, it has a larger international footprint than any of its Mexican rivals. The US government describes the Sinaloa cartel as one of the largest drug trafficking organizations in the entire world. Founded in the late 1980s, it was for many years headed by the notorious drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. El Chapo, or Shorty, was once ranked as one of the world's richest men. His life and vast drug trafficking empire have been the subject of numerous books and TV series. Under his leadership, the cartel garnered a fierce reputation for violence and outfought several rival groups. The Sinaloa became the biggest supplier of illegal drugs to the US during Guzman's long reign as leader. In July 2019, the Guzman was sentenced to life in prison following one of the most high-profile trials in recent US history. His jailing led to an increase of violence in the region as other groups sought to take advantage. Despite this, the Sinaloa cartel remains hugely powerful. It still dominates northwest Mexico and is reported to have a presence in cities ranging from Buenos Aires to New York. It also continues to make billions of dollars from trafficking illicit narcotics to the US, Europe and Asia. With its long-time leader now behind bars, the cartel is said to be partially controlled by Guzman's son, Ovidio Guzman Lopez. When he was arrested by the security forces in October of 2019, Sinaloa cartel gunmen were quick to demonstrate the group's serious military might. They fought street battles with the army in broad daylight, set fire to vehicles and even staged a prison break before their leader was eventually freed by the Mexican president to avoid more bloodshed. He has been finally arrested in January this year and USA has been demanding his extradition. Although there are several other cartels operating in Mexico such as the Gulf Cartel, the CJNG, Los Zetas, etc., these two, that is the Arellano Felix cartel and the Sinaloa cartel, are the most powerful and deadly ones. We hope you would like this new video. Thank you so much for watching.